Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining us one more time. Today we are with Catherine. She's from England and she will be sharing with us her life experience. Thank you. How old are you, Catherine?
I don't really know. I've forgotten.
Around?
Maybe around 66.
Okay. How was your childhood?
Lovely. I had the biggest bedroom in the house and it was blue fur
Blue.
carpets. Blue fur carpets.
Do you have a lot of brothers, sisters?
No, no one.
No one, just you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. What did you learn from that stage, from your childhood? What did you learn?
Everything. Because as Saint Augustine said, if you take a child before it is 7, you will make it a man. So everything you learn in the first 7 years contributes to your personality as an adult. So, and Saint Augustine actually said you need to take a child up to it's 7 years old, and then you can guess what kind of adult they're going to be.
So, how was your childhood from, let's say, 0 to 7?
I was born in Crowden Road, a different house than I went to live in, because my father died when I was 4 years old, and my mother moved us to go and live with my grandmother in Moston, and so I was brought up by 3 women, my mother, my grandmother and myself.
Okay. Your grandfather wasn't there either?
No, he had died a long time ago.
How when your father died, how impact on you? It had impact on you.
Not really, because I didn't actually realise I was too young, and my mother never really showed her grieving to me at all. So I was actually quite happy growing up, because I didn't realise that you were supposed to have a father, and my uncle John, who lived quite close by, was a male figure who was kind of a father figure to me.
And when you was in the school, for example, and you see another children, that
Not really. I went to a private convent school, which was quite different from all the other children that I lived near, because they all went to the local primary school, and I had to travel on a bus to get to my school, and so because it was a private school, you came across people who were a little bit different from the norm.
Okay. How was your adolescence?
Lovely. It was kind of done like a German primary school. It had a kindergarten for the youngest children, and you could go there from 4 years old, and then you had a kind of transition class, and then you had Form 1, you had Form 2 and Form 3, and 3 was the final year when you took your 11 plus and then chose which school you'd go to then. And it was really interesting, because every year we had a kind of dancing display, and because it was a Catholic school, the bishop always used to come to the school to watch the dancing display or my first communion lessons and my first confession and everything like that. So it was a little bit different from the way schools normally ran.
Okay, but
I
religious school, no?
Yes.
So what did you learn from that stage? But yourself, in your personal, what?
That it was good to be liked. And it was good to make people laugh. If you could make people laugh, people tended to like you.
Okay. This need to be the origin of in your heart, or is just to pretend, or what way do you mean?
No, I mean, if you actually genuinely want to make people happy and make people laugh, then people will like you and you will get on better in life if you act like that, rather than just being a total misery all the time.
How was your relationship with your mom?
Lovely until I was about maybe 14. And then I kind of started to question what she said, because before that I never disagreed with her, and so I was always happy. After that I started to kind of question what she told me, and then that would cause arguments sometimes because my ideas weren't at all like hers. And I realise now why that was, but I didn't find that out till I was about 40, much older.
Do you mean, do you understand her better? Or
now I understand her better, but then I didn't really understand her. But now I know why I didn't, because I was a totally different character to her.
So you were more similar with your father, maybe?
No.
Or okay.
No.
Okay. Could you share what kind of ideas was very different between you and your mom, please?
My mother used to, for example, would not like people just turning up at the house. She would always have to tidy it up, make tea for someone to eat, and generally be prepared in a state of readiness for a person to come round, so that the house would be tidy and it would look lovely. Whereas I just couldn't give a damn. I just put everything on the floor.
14 years old.
Wouldn't care whether anyone would come round and see a load of mess. It didn't matter to me, because the thing that mattered to me was the person who was coming. It wasn't about the state of the house, or how much things we had in the house, or whether I had a better sofa than anyone else. It was just, I enjoyed it because they were coming to see me. So it didn't matter. Yes, exactly, not the house.
So that kind of stuff you didn't share with you?
That was a fundamental difference between me and my mother. But I will tell you, when I was 40, what happened, and then you will realise why I didn't actually get on with my mother intrinsically until much later.
Okay. But So what did you learn from her?
How to sew, how to lie, that's about it.
Okay, how to sew and how to lie.
Yes.
Did she lie to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you do example? What was for example, the biggest lie that she made to you, and you found out?
Yes. That I had been adopted, and I wasn't actually her child by birth.
So how you found out?
When I was 40, I received a letter through the front door saying, I've been looking for you for years. I believe that you are my child, and this is my name. This is who I am, and I would very much like to see you if you would like to see me. And that was it.
In what happened at that moment? Did you went with your mom to say what's going on here, or what did you do after that?
No, I rang my uncle and I asked him if my mother that I'd lived with since I was born was pregnant when he got married to my aunt. And because he was a Catholic as well, he just didn't want to lie. And he said, does it matter? And I said, yes, it does matter. When you got married, was she pregnant? And he couldn't answer. He just wouldn't answer.
So that was your answer?
Yes. And then I went to see her. And she lived in London, in Fulham. And when I saw her, she looked exactly like me.
Your biological mom?
Yes.
So you didn't tell your, let's say, your other mom?
No, I didn't tell her, because she didn't tell me.
Why you think she didn't tell you?
I don't know. I don't know, because it was very important, because if I had a child and I thought that she would get a critical illness like the one I've got, which is hereditary in families, I would have warned her, but my mother didn't. So she was quite happy to see me sit in a wheelchair and not be able to walk, and she didn't tell me. She didn't say, well, it's because, you could have got this from your parent, your father, your mother, because she didn't tell me I was adopted. I actually thought she was my birth mother.
How long have you been in a chair? For how long? How old were you when you started?
It was about 37, so it's a long time.
37 years.
When I learnt that I had multiple sclerosis, yes, it was. It was a long time, but I wasn't always in a wheelchair.
But you were feeling already the
Yes.
illness.
Yes.
Okay, coming on.
Yeah.
And that could explain why. Because it's genetical. Is genetical that?
Well, yes, it could have been, and if there was any thought that it was, I think she should have told me, and she didn't. So I thought it was within my rights to withhold the information about my real mother, which when I found her, I realised why. and I told my husband this. I loved Italy so much. It was because she had married an Italian man, and I had two brothers, and they were Italian, and they only spoke Italian. And I've been over to Italy loads of times to see them, you know, and they've been over here, and it was lovely. And I did feel very close to my mother and my siblings, more so than I had felt to my adoptive mother.
The time that you passed with your adopted mom
Yes.
was good? Also,
Yes.
Since you, let's say, were adopted until 14 years, everything was all right? She treated you well and
Oh,
fine?
yes, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Oh, yeah. No, she did from 14, but it was about that age that I started to question what she said.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother definitely didn't like to be questioned. She just wanted to say, this is what we'll do, and then you had to do it.
Okay.
And if you didn't do it, she wasn't very happy. She didn't like to be argued with or contradicted at all.
When you went to that place to meet your biological mom, after that, what happened? Did you carry on being in contact with?
Oh yes, I
yes?
still am, and I still see my brothers. They've been over here as well to Hebden, but I realised when I met them, it was obvious that I was their sister, because certainly one of them, Olivia, looks exactly like me. You know, you couldn't argue. And what happened was my mother actually got a divorce from her husband, and he went off with his secretary.
Okay.
And he now lives in Menton, which is near, it's on the French coast, just towards Italy, over there. But
And your mom stayed with, kept 3 or 4 children by
no,
herself?
she kept my two brothers, but one brother came over to England to live with her because he had had a really bad accident. He was in the army and he was driving a tank, and he had a really bad accident. So my mother came over to England to look after him. Oliver, the other brother, the eldest one, the youngest one, he lives in Italy on the shores of Lake Geneva with his girlfriend, and he's quite happy over there.
So you born here in
Yes.
England, and
Yeah.
your other 2 brothers in Italy?
Yes.
Okay. No sisters?
No.
No sisters.
I
Okay.
am the sister.
The sister. After you're 14 years old, do you carry on living with your adopted mom, or?
Well, I was actually married and living with Alex and my husband. I wasn't living with them. I was living in my marital home with my husband and my daughter. And yeah, I still see my adoptive mother, and I also saw my other mother as well.
I mean, when did you receive the when you knew that you were adopted? Did you carry on living with your mom, with your adopted mom?
Yes, but I wasn't actually living with her. I lived in a different house.
Okay.
And she lived on her own in another house. But yes, I still went to see her, and I still loved her.
Okay.
It was just that I didn't mention about my real mother.
She didn't know
No.
that you were okay.
She didn't.
How old were you when you got married?
22, I think.
22.
22.
And so, do you have children?
Yes, I think maybe Alex.
Just one, right? Just one.
Alexandra, yes.
What did you learn from her?
Oh, how to spend a long time in a changing room
In the changing room.
of a shop,
Okay.
looking at her trying on different clothes.
She loved it.
And also, lots of things, just from her behaviour. I learnt lots of things, just how she was, and probably how to be kinder and more patient.
Yeah, usually that the children
Yes.
touches. What do you think a child needs?
Love.
Have you take therapy to work about your experience as adopted? Because I feel some of people has been passed through for this kind of experience too as adopted, and it's a strong experience. I have my first interview here in the channel is about adopting. But usually people that has been adopted try to look their origin, their origin, where are my parents? So I met another woman that was adopted too, and she said it's better don't found out then. But it depends, no? Some people is better look for their parents, some people no. So how has been for you this life experience? What have you learned? Have you worked in yourself? How it was impacting you? What can you say to the people that has been adopted and is having these times,
Well, I think it's good because firstly you get more Christmas presents and secondly you get more people, and that's good. No, I think it's better to find out who, because you need to know why you are who you are and how you react like you do, because it made me know all the things that I thought were very different from me to my adoptive mother. I understood when I met my real mother, and that's why I was so different. So it was good for me to find out what she was like, so that I could understand myself better.
And for example, the other side of the coin, let's
Yes.
say this, for the parents who adopted,
Yes.
they really sometimes don't want to speak about this because they want to raise the child like
Yes.
it's mine, it's you.
Yeah.
I'm your mom.
Yes, I can understand that, because that's exactly why I didn't tell my adopted mother. She could go on thinking that I was definitely her child, but I had the best of both worlds because I knew my real mother. But I didn't have to mix the two people. I could carry on reacting with two different people and provided it was fine with me, which it was, I carried on doing it.
And what do you do when you are having hard times? Let's say stress or I don't know, hard times.
Well, I'm a Catholic, and I have God. So he is probably the best person to talk to if you're in trouble, because he's got a fantastic way of saying absolutely nothing. So you could just talk away and then answer yourself, and you'll be right and you'll be okay, because he can't speak. I found this out. You say, oh please God, please let me win the lottery. And does God let you win? No, he doesn't. He doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything, and then you just think, okay, fine. And because he can't do anything, and he can't speak, you can say what you like and he'll never tell anyone.
But can you feel him?
Yes.
What is or are your passions in this life?
I think it was my husband when he was alive, and it also was acting and English literature, and that's it, I think. Alex, of course, and my grandchildren.
What does love mean to you?
It means never having to say you're sorry. As they said in the film.
What does forgiveness mean to you?
I don't know, I have a problem with that.
A problem with that, yeah. Have you forgive?
No. I have one person in my life which I will never forgive. She used to be a really good friend, and then she did something wrong, and I can't forgive her.
What does fear mean to you?
I don't really know. I'm never really afraid, except of horror movie films.
No,
I'm never really afraid.
Would you change something from your life?
Not really, no, I don't think so.
Nothing?
I'm quite happy. Yeah.
Mm.
A couple of million wouldn't come amiss.
Oh yeah, of course. Please, could you say three things that you are very grateful to have in your life?
It was my adoptive mother's mother, my grandmother, my husband, and my daughter, and her children. So 4, really.
Do you want to say something for people that is having a similar life experience than you? And could we talk about your ill? How long have you been
Well, I first got diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis, when I was 37. And I think the reason that it started was when I had Alexandra as a baby, because sometimes when you're pregnant, illnesses like this can start. But it was probably because I was born in the north of England, in Manchester, and they do say that people who are born in the north have much greater chance of getting multiple sclerosis because there is less sunshine, so there is less vitamin A, which you need in your body. And I think that's probably the reason why I got it, because when I was born in Manchester it was very, very foggy and smoggy all the time. And I first noticed or got diagnosed because I worked on a computer in a travel agency and I could not see the screen properly. So I went to an eye specialist, and luckily he actually said, I think you ought to go to the hospital to have a test for MS. So that was just lucky, because people spend ages trying to find a proper diagnosis. So I went to the hospital in York and they said, I think we will do a test, and they put a needle in my spine and withdrew the liquid from the bone, and then they could diagnose me definitely with MS. For about maybe 15, nearly 20 years, I didn't really have any symptoms, so I could still walk and I could still move about. But then as it progressed, it gets worse, because at the beginning I was getting an injection in my leg every day, and then when it progresses they don't use the injection anymore because it doesn't work, and I have to be in a wheelchair now because I can't walk properly. I can walk with sticks or holding onto something, but I'm very wobbly. But that was only from maybe about, I'm trying to think, maybe about 50. When I was 50, maybe it got worse. And it
50
progressed, yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been in using
the wheelchair?
The wheelchair?
About 6 years.
6 years.
No, I before I would use my walker, because I could walk further. But now I get really tired, so I have to use the wheelchair. Yeah.
The pain is how you manage.
The pain has got nothing to do with the MS at all. The pain is in my arm, and it is just a constant pain from the shoulder to the wrist in my left arm, and it's not because of the MS. It is because of the MS. It's just a pain that started about 10 years after I got MS. And it has never stopped. It's constantly there, and I must take tablets for the pain because it is so awful. But aside from that, I can control that, and aside from it, obviously not being able to walk, I'm okay, because I can actually do most things, like bath myself, go to the loo, because lots of people with illnesses similar to this can't do that. You know, they lose the power of speech and all sorts of movement. So I think I'm lucky in a way that I haven't got an illness like that.
Okay.
It's like, I hate the thought of somebody like he's got motor neuron disease, like that rugby player. That must have been awful.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine, for this lovely interview.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for sharing with us your life experience.
There's more. There's a lot more.
Hope you enjoy this interview and take whatever you need from this, and see you in the next one, and please carry on. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye.